Welcome to ZFG. I'm Krista, joined by Carson and Freddy. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Very well, thank you.
It's a new season, season 2.
Season 2.
See, you've been practicing the intro?
No.
More than you have.
So how's the summer been without us, Krista?
Honestly, I really missed you guys.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was kind of getting a little restless at the end. I mean, I wasn't here. I mean, I was here with Waylon, but...
Oh, cover so we don't have to mark like 28 days of PTO.
Yeah.
You were here. Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I was working exactly, but I was here trying to keep cool. It was kind of hot. Where were you?
I was in California.
Well, I thought you hate that state. What's going on
I
in
hate the
California?
governance of that state.
Oh.
It just so happens to be a beautiful, beautiful place with a fantastic climate and just horrible people.
And there you have it. That sums that up. And where were you?
I was in London for most of it, and then
How's the weather?
Spain for a little bit. You know, the weather was quite nice because it was warm for a couple of weeks, and then it kind of rained and was shitty. And I know you don't believe that it rains and is shitty in London, but it was. But relative to like the rest of the world, where you just open the newspapers and it's like fire porn everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
It's really...
like Europe, all anyone can talk about, and you speak to like other people in Spain, you're like, how's the weather? They're like, yeah, it's nice, it's hot. But you open like the newspaper and it's like pictures of like little English kids running around like scorched. It looks like the kind of napalm Vietnam thing is like holiday makers running away from like big flames behind, and people don't realize that's actually just Brits on holiday. Like it has nothing to do with the weather. It's just they're fair and they burn easily. So
And they're drunk, so they don't feel the burn. Especially the kids.
True. So yeah, that was that. But I want to open up by giving special mention to one of our esteemed viewers.
Yes.
Outside the close group of blood relatives who tune into this, and that senator in the scary place with some interesting political views. So Jamie Darwood went and has obviously been taking inspiration from us.
Thank you, Jamie.
And he visited the Penis Museum in Iceland. And we've got, I think, like a picture up on screen now of the logo and everything. And look, I got to tell you, I think it's great that people are taking this show as seriously as it's intended to be. The downside is, it's a nice fucking building. Like, if you want to step your game up to that level and donate that as your last thing...
It'll be the Guggenheim of Penis Museums, and it'll be in New York City, man, in Manhattan. Oh, God. Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like, it wasn't phallic shaped like the Guggenheim, but it was a nice looking building. So yeah.
Did he like DM you? What like?
No, we met up for a drink in London. He works for an investment firm.
Wait,
and,
so you know him?
Well, he like reached out on Bloomberg and was like, "Hey, I really like the show," and I was like, "Cool, where do you work?"
It's just like meet random guys. It's weird.
That's called Grindr. It's totally different. Like it's just not.
Sounds pretty gay
this
to
is
me.
Bloomberg,
Okay,
not
Bloomberg,
Grindr.
Grindr. It's the same thing.
There's a reason I haven't logged into my Bloomberg for about 3.5 years.
Oh boy.
So he's just like, hey, if you're ever in London, so we caught up, had a beer, and then I was like, oh, what are you up to over the summer? He's like, oh, actually, I'm going to Iceland. I don't know if you know, there's a museum of penises. I'm like, cool, if you go, check it out and send me a picture. So he went, sent me a picture, and yeah, impressive.
Wow.
So when he sat down with you, though, he didn't know that this is our great philanthropic cause, right? At the Penis Museum. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Maybe he did.
That's a big.
No,
that's
Maybe an oversell on your
Come
part
on.
here.
No, I think he did know. You know
was
what? I think
excited.
he did know. I think he did know.
Well, now you're changing the
No.
story because that's not how you just related it.
Yeah.
Did he know?
Related
Yeah, he
it?
watches the podcast, so he did know
Related
it's our
it?
great philanthropic cause. Yeah, he did know.
Because I thought you had said that when you had texted us that, but I don't know.
Dude,
Penis
it was
in
the
every pot.
summer. Like, well, what, are you going to ask me to recall stuff before COVID now? Like,
I
summer is
don't
a
even.
block of time.
I won't even remember what I did yesterday.
I know.
It's
Or this.
again a great philanthropic cause
Yes.
to co-opt a slogan from the FDR New Deal era: a penis in every pot.
That's good.
Yeah, but look, we've been gone a long time, and a lot of shit happened.
I know. And our viewers are probably like just wanting to know what's going on.
Take it away,
So,
Krista.
New York Bag Mafia. This was you.
Yeah, this is me. So I took my daughter to New York City for a few days, and
You know, I Googled it, like New York Bag Mafia. I'm like, nothing's coming up.
yeah, because that was just sort of how I termed it in the email that I sent to you, just telling you to put this on the agenda. But anyway, look, New York City has always been a showcase for really expensive handbags. But I got to tell you, man, I was blown away on this trip. Like, it's crazy. And I'm not talking like Gucci and Chanel bags.
Hermes?
I'm talking about how they followed California in this regard, right? So you go to a store, like a supermarket, any store, and assuming you want to be able to carry your items, in a group and not have to keep walking in and walking back out one by one, you want a bag. And so California started this bullshit thing where they charge you like 10 cents a bag. And then New York City, imposed that as law. Maybe it's New York State. But now what these fuckers are doing, and I'm talking like not the obvious businesses. I'm talking the Intrepid Air and Space Museum. I'm talking the Museum of Mathematics.
So
when you buy shit in the gift shop there, they don't even have the 20 cent or 10 cent bag for you. They only have like a rip-off fucking like, and it's not just the, I see you forgot your bag, we'll sell this thing to you for like $8, which is a total ripoff. I mean, it's fucking expensive to walk out with the Museum of Mathematics
How much
custom
was it?
bag. More than I was going to pay. I can't remember.
So
I
you
was
just had like
I'm like,
your 6-year-old.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, sweetie, you
Listen,
carry
sweetie,
this shit
show
because we're
that
not
shit.
like these fuckers want. Like I've already explained to you that the 10-cent bag is immoral, and when you're in the supermarket, always go to the self-checkout line, and when they ask how many bags, you hit 0, and then you throw in a few extra bags just to give them the finger because it's immoral. I've already told you that, and I've taught you that, but now, Jesus Christ. So anyway, that's the thing with New York City. Like I think even the Children's Museum there in Manhattan pulls the same shit.
So you know what they should do? They should price this thing much smarter. So I learned years ago that when they sell you kind of like an online subscription, there's kind of a pricing module in economics where they sell you like an online subscription, and then they throw in like the paper subscription, and they can price discriminate, and most people are like, oh, paper and online's a much better deal, so I'm going to go for that, and the margin on it's higher. So what they should do is be like, look, you can either get the gift for like $20 or the gift in the bag for $100, and you just price the bag like on its own at $99, and people are like, I may as well get the fucking gift as well. That's the way you do it. So there should be an alternative stall outside. You should buy just the gifts, and then you should sell the gift in the bag package, and people will be like, yeah, it's a way better fucking deal. That's what I'm going to do. Business idea of the week.
Or all those sidewalk entrepreneurs in New York City that the moment it starts raining, they've run into Walgreens and cleaned them out of umbrellas, and they come out and they sell them for like, $30 a pop.
Which does happen.
It absolutely happens. You could do that with like, standing outside of these places with like little plastic shopping bags. Like, hey, listen, only, $5 for this
You're
thing.
giving me some ideas. If this doesn't work out for me, which...
It already hasn't.
Well, dude, they have these tweed bags that say, like, this is not a plastic bag. What about just selling plastic bags with this is not a plastic bag on the side? Like, do you think anyone's going to fucking notice? But it seems way cooler and more like
You know what?
eco.
But if it were a plastic bag that said, I took this from the store and didn't pay the tax, I bet you could sell that for some real money.
Cool. So,
all right.
So what happened? Did your daughter get the gift?
I mean,
carry this shit in our hands, man. I wasn't going to...
Father of the Year, right here.
Again,
By the way, his
And she wanted a
Are
45...
you going to give her fucking social security number now?
No,
45
I'm just
kilo set of
saying,
dumbbells
like,
from the Air and Space Museum. What a father. Just like walking
I
around with it.
know. That's what I'm
Shame,
saying. It's
shame.
not right.
Yeah, well, when my kid's like, you know, body slamming your kid, you know, now you'll know why.
Okay, Drug Olympics. This was you too, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Maybe I was in the midst of one when I said this because I can't remember what
Oh
the
no,
fuck
this was
that
me.
is.
So there's this
Okay.
dude who is trying to get together and actively create, and this is something we've talked about for a long time because it would make a lot of boring sports interesting, like an actual drug Olympics. Like he is deadly serious, trying to get like people together and just be like, look, this is totally fair. I want the best shit you can put in humans with the humans who want to take the best shit. And he's like, it's a totally level playing field. Now, the International Olympic Committee, who I think are a bunch of shitbags anyway, are like, oh, this is so abhorrent. Like, we much prefer the illusion of it being like fair competition.
Of Russia getting all those medals. Russia and China.
Yeah, it's the bearded Russian swimmers. But I'm thinking I see a sponsorship opportunity here for us because, like, ultimately, people are going to come around to this being way more fun to watch. When someone can throw a discus like half a mile, or, you know, when you can do like the 110-meter hurdles and like your first leap goes over the first 6 hurdles, it's probably the way that people used to think about UFC is like, oh, this is a freak show, like, oh, it's so violent, disgusting, but actually as humans, we quite like that kind of like base level, like animalistic shit. I think we're going to get over this, and to be honest, the Tour de France, everyone watches that. We all know that those fuckers are on drugs.
Bad precedent, bro. Because you remember that guy Oscar Pistorius?
Yeah.
So he was the dude who had his double amputee, had his legs amputated, and so they let him compete while running on carbon fiber blades.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
then he murdered his girlfriend. See where this shit
Oh
goes?
yeah. Actually,
Rita
when was that?
Steinkamp.
Yeah.
I think is
But
her
he
name.
wasn't on drugs.
No, but when
He was
you
just
let
angry.
But when you let people enhance their performance beyond human capabilities,
Oh.
that's where it goes. It's bad precedent.
So sorry, this is so unrelated, but sort of related. This is an Olympic sport, and I want to know.
Oh,
I
like,
want to know.
like when you get that like fake little horse.
Yes.
Oh,
horse
it's
head
not
on
an
a
Olympic
broom.
sport. You retard.
It's an Olympic sport.
It's not an
I was like emailing all my friends. I want to do this for a
It's
living.
officially called what's it officially called?
Hobby horsing?
Hobby horse dressage.
Yes.
I think.
It originated in London.
Of all places.
I mean, I want in.
I love that you think that's an Olympic sport.
I thought it was an Olympic sport. I'm like,
This
do I-
is based on that video. It is still being taken way too seriously.
Seriously.
Way too
These
seriously.
people aren't even on drugs.
Unclear if there is
How,
drug
how do you know they're
testing.
not on drugs?
Well, I mean, they're like 10,
I'm not-
they're
they
10-year-old
might not-
girls.
They
No,
might
can
not
I
be on
guess?
testosterone, but you know they're.
Come on.
They
this
might
is
be on
so weird.
shrooms.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty
What the
fucked
hell?
up.
First, I thought this was a stupid sport. Maybe it's not a.
And then second, I thought this is a stupid sport.
No, have you ever seen like I don't know if it's an Olympic sport, but like darts, like they
Darts
play.
an Olympic sport.
Are you lying to
Yes.
me?
He's
I'm lying.
British.
An
So.
asshole.
No, he's British. No, I remember back in high school, I met this chick who's from New Zealand, and she, so we go to this bar. She took me to the British pub. It's always like the something, like the lion and the sheep or some shit like that. The name of every British pub. But go there and like
The black sheep.
They've got dartboards, but like these dudes bring their own darts, and they've got belts with like their dart holders
Dude.
on it. It's so gay.
It's so yeah.
so lame. Just
But have you ever seen like a big championship? It's
Yeah,
like,
so I went once to the darts at Ali
stop.
Pally,
What?
and it's amazing. It's honestly
Like, so you-
So you wear like stupid shirts because like everyone wears these like dart shirts, and it's some of the greatest people watching you can ever wish to experience. Okay,
the people
we're gonna do it.
watching.
We should do a trip to the UK, and I would strongly recommend just. It kind of
150%.
reminded me
I
of
actually
being in
don't
an
know.
Attenborough documentary. And now you see him, Homo erectus, approaching the board.
I know you don't understand.
He's wavering.
But there's like 500 people
what I would
watching this
respect
thing.
to be
Yeah.
dodge darts.
No, it's
like
huge.
dodgeball with darts. Like that would
that's-
be some good shit.
But even this,
It's honestly, it's a great spectacle, and everyone goes, let's play darts, and like it's I gotta
It's
say,
huge.
what I was quite astounded by
Now, they
is
do
how
sell
fucking
alcohol at these events.
yeah,
Yeah,
they don't
okay.
sell tap
Right.
water. Trust me.
Right.
What I was pretty astounded by is actually how far away they are.
Do you think we could sponsor like a dart team or dart like who's?
That would be amazing.
It's not a bad idea.
Who's the big
That would be
swinging dart?
So
So-
Phil Taylor,
Big swinging.
so like the nations
Phil
that play,
Taylor.
so there was a
That's
guy
a
called
boring-
Phil the Powers Taylor.
God.
I think I want to say it was
It's
Phil
almost as
Taylor.
bad a stage name as Robbie Williams.
Dude, if we could get Robbie Williams at the darts, that would be everything
feel like
the
he
UK
plays
does
it.
well. So I want to say the Welsh, the Brits, I think like the Dutch are pretty good. It's places where the weather's shit and you sit inside drinking a lot, basically.
Well, the thing I was watching was
Hobby horsing,
no, the
not an
dart
Olympic sport.
At least they work up a
championship,
sweat in that.
It was in Fargo.
darts is-
and it was just like I swear to God, and I'm like, am I high right now? Like, I just like watching them. They were like.
Dude,
Like, it was
it's
just like
honestly,
they were breathing like
also
they were
like
just
the
did,
mental
like,
math that you need to be able to be like, all right, I've got whatever it is, like because you have to finish on a double, so you've got
Is
to
this
know.
true?
Yeah, you have. So
Is
you
he
play. No.
I don't-
So you play
You
to.
look like a dart player.
I think it's 501 per score. So
Are you fucking around?
no, I'm deadly serious. So dartboard's like 1 through 20, and then the top bit, that tiny little like red bit, the top is like double the number,
Okay,
and then
that
the
sounds
bottom bit
actually
there is
true.
treble. So the best score you can get is 180. So I think you can have it's like a 9-dart finish or something.
We
just
have a
based on the math.
fabulous dartboard here.
The Jim
Ooh,
Oberweis.
the Jim Oberweis Junior dartboard.
I mean,
How all of the portfolio
we should try to
should
sell
bring it
that.
in
were once selected.
Yeah, we should bring that into the show one week and explain the Jimbo Boys.
100%. It's
Yeah.
one of our best
Well, last
items here.
time we talked about Jim Oberweis Jr., which was late last year before the holidays, somebody, and he says it's not he who sent it, but somebody sent me like a little toilet with the
And we should also show
with the
that.
middle finger on it and a picture of me inside the bowl.
Of course, his assistant
nice.
Krista
It was great. I love
opened the
that.
thing, and I'm like, "Is there going to be shit in this
And
thing?"
it disappointed me when he denied sending it because I would have actually like respected him more if he had sent that.
I feel like he did send it.
I mean, he
or
probably
had-
sent it, but that's what happened the last time we talked about him. So I don't know, like whoever's watching this and might have told Jim Oberweis Jr. that we joked about him before, let him know we did it again.
Please.
Right. So since we've been gone, China has taken a turn for the worse. Right, Krista?
Yes. Where are you on this? Are you?
We're on number 3. It's a big number. It's hard to keep
It's
track.
the one after the topic we just talked about.
Tigerback hedge fund. Yulin shuts amid China invest. What? Hedge fund
Tiger-backed hedge fund, Yulin
shuts amid China investigating woes.
investing woes.
Sorry, investing
Don't
woes.
apologize to me. Apologize to the English
I'm
language.
sorry. English is not my first language, clearly. I sign.
Okay,
So
what-
Sorry.
I can't believe I believe that.
Oh,
I know.
God.
It's the only time
Oh.
it's ever been able to fool either of us. But it is.
It is. But I did really believe that that was dog
I
inside.
had, please.
Shocking.
Anyway,
I don't know. What do we have to say about this? Like,
this was his.
maybe this was just a, hey, if we don't have anything else to talk about, let's talk
We
about
have
this. But
enough.
we have a lot of other things to talk about.
But
So I
do
don't
you
know.
do you want to?
Well, I think what's cool about China is actually that this week they are no longer publishing statistics on youth unemployment, which obviously means there is no youth unemployment, is there? So everything continues to be awesome for the youth in China, on top of the fact that they have a male-female imbalance.
And they're not allowed to watch TikTok more than 2 hours a week or
Yeah.
some shit.
Well, that
That's
is
smart.
interesting,
That is
actually.
smart, yeah.
Once again,
See, TikTok brain over here. That's what we found the hobby horse dressage Olympic sport
Well,
bullshit.
my Instagram, I get I'm like, oh my God, I want in. I want to be that. I want to do that.
Hobby horse dressage.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Will you
welcome-
sponsor me?
You're welcome to go and try it.
And MWC sponsor me?
No,
I mean, I
but
know I'm gonna. They're
I'll-
12-year-old
I'll
girls,
be,
but
if you have,
I feel
if
like
you
I
get,
could pass.
If you get 9 other sponsors, we'll be the 10th.
Well,
So let's see if you can make a go of it professionally.
To be honest, I think it
It's
is
time
your
for you to
one
s-
chance at getting into an Ivy League. If you go in through the side door with the hobby horse dressage program, you could totally side door. The stamp and hobby horsing team.
Dude, China youth unemployment and this thing. Maybe there's a way to convince some Chinese that they could bribe their way in to like our school that we'll set up here by acting as though they're varsity athletes in hobby horse dressage.
I want to make this happen. If you can make my dream happen, I feel like the two of you can.
All right, if we set up a course, I'll tell you what. There's
It's
that
time for you to
place.
step out of our shadow.
I'll tell you what. There's
You got to
that.
get the other 9
There's
sponsors.
that place,
That's gonna be
Jester
hard.
King,
Yes.
out by where you live.
I'm
It's
the one
cool.
who told you about
Yeah,
it.
I know. All right,
Oh,
big fucking deal.
sorry.
So we went, and it
God,
was
I'm excited.
pretty cool. We had some friends in town, and they have kids. So there's really good food, and there's like a little goat petting thing. But they've got all these kind of open fields. So what we could do is
Just practice?
we'll go out, we'll
I don't
hang
even need
out,
to practice.
we'll get shit faced,
I feel like,
and we'll set up a course for you, and you can do the hobby horsing around.
and you're gonna film
we'll
it and
film
then
it
send it to whomever.
to the Olympic
To
Committee.
the International
told me
Olympic
this.
Committee.
Yeah, and if we can't get into the regular Olympics, we've got a good chance of getting into the Special Olympics.
All right, that's a different show. And no. All right. Well, I hope it happens.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. All right. So, the Swiss gymnastics bosses launches just a photos ban.
A what photo there?
Photos.
Suggestive photos ban.
Wait,
Yeah.
actually, I took a picture of
We've
this.
got the pictures, right? So. yeah.
Well, I'm gonna send
We're
them
gonna
this one.
have this one up on screen.
We're gonna send this
Which
for
is
our viewers.
maybe not the worst idea. I mean, they are, I think, pretty much all under 18.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst idea? Is that
It's
what you're
maybe
saying?
not the worst idea.
Yeah, that's a lot of words. I don't know what you're trying to say.
And you told me that drink that I made you worse.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, there is no reason to watch gymnastics other than like when they fall.
That is totally untrue.
No. If it were only women 18 and older, who were allowed to compete, and of course the Chinese would cheat, so you couldn't check out like the Chinese chicks. But then it would be, then maybe it'd be suggestive. Then maybe it'd be worth watching.
Yeah.
Except they're all very like flat chested too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's
maybe
all.
that's 'cause
They're
they're so
very
young.
yeah
Yeah.
muscular.
But
Their
I
chest
guess like
becomes
what I'm
muscle.
wondering.
Mary Lou Retton never got cans later in life, though.
I can't even believe now you're showing your age.
Well, so the
you know who
question
that
I'm
is?
wondering
Yeah, he
is
has no idea who Mary Lou
no.
Retton was.
Oh.
How about Bruce Jenner? Well, yeah, you know Bruce Jenner.
I know who
now.
Bruce Jenner is.
You're-
He's got
And I'm
cans now.
Caitlyn Jenner.
There you go.
Is that what we're going? I guess what I'm wondering is like, obviously, like all the dudes who are photographers of female gymnasts are pervs, right? Like that
Yeah.
fucking goes without saying. So at what point was someone at the IOC who's clearly been like, or the Swiss gymnastics bosses, like they've been getting these photos for fucking years, right? At what point are they like, okay, does anyone else feel creepy about this? That like 98% of photos are them doing the splits midair, and the other 1% of photos is them like in the changing rooms. Like, well, at what point was someone like, oh, this has really gotten out of hand? Because I think since the beginning of time, that has been the sole purpose of photographers in female gymnastics. Like, is there another stated thing?
What are your thoughts?
It's kind of above my pay grade on this one. I think you're onto something there, but I mean, the only thought or only thing that's ever in my consciousness about gymnastics is just like how the Chinese are always entering girls who are like way too young.
I know.
Right, like everything else, they gotta like inject them with steroids. But when it comes to gymnastics, you need like the really young kids who are more flexible.
How are the Chinese in gymnastics?
Good.
Well, I mean, ever since like
Are they? Are they?
Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay,
again,
okay.
it's because nobody's actually old enough to legally compete.
The Russians used to be good, right? I want to say the Russians used to be good.
I feel like they're always good.
Yeah, well, they had that one, legit gymnast way back in the day. I want to talk about showing age with Olympic athletes. Nadia Comaneci.
Of course.
Yeah, actually, no, she wasn't Russian. She was Eastern Bloc. I think she was
same thing.
Bulgarian and Romanian. Same thing. Yeah.
According to Vladimir Putin, very much the same thing.
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
His sphere of influence. Well, speaking of Vladimir Putin, while I was in the UK, I was watching this excellent TV show where they
you need to talk about
they
this.
interviewed a number of former prime ministers, like some really senior people from like the US side as well, like various parts of government, and really talking about how Putin charmed the West and like some of his negotiating tactics at various points, like originally with Crimea, his like initial negotiating tactics and stuff, and
Which was, I took this. What are you going to do?
pretty much. Well, there was this really interesting point where at one point the Russian negotiator, so they'd shown up at an EU summit. The Russian negotiator was ostensibly it was some rebel force that had nothing to do, even though they all had like Russian insignia on. And so, they'd be like, yeah, well, we'd like you to do this, and then maybe you could speak to the rebels. And he's like, well, I don't control them. They have nothing to do with me. And then they'd be like, okay. And then he'd they'd say, well, these are our demands. And he'd be like, cool. He'd leave the building for like 20 minutes, and he'd be like, I've spoken to the rebels, and they are prepared to do this. Like, totally just rubbing their faces in it that, like, officially it has nothing to do with them, but then comes back and speaks on behalf of them. What I thought was really interesting, though, was Putin's charm offensive on David Cameron. So at the time, the UK were hosting the Olympics, and Putin had the Sochi Olympics coming up, where he was just like, God, am I going to steal a lot of fucking money here? This is
There were like no partitions in between toilets and stuff.
right,
You know?
or snow in a place where they're doing the Winter Olympics.
Well, it was China and the nuclear reactor, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was super interesting. So, Cameron arranges, for him and Putin to go and watch the judo. And, he knows Putin's a big judo buff. And he goes and watches it, and, the Russian dude wins, and Putin's kind of sitting there a bit stiff. And, Cameron's like, you should go and, congratulate him, that'd be really cool. And Putin's like, yeah, that would, be... He's like, yeah. So he goes down, congratulates him. He's like, oh, thank you so much, David. That was a great idea. We are going to be great friends. And, he calls him from the plane, and Cameron's sitting there like, oh, look, I've totally charmed him. And he just does whatever the fuck he wants. So it was a really interesting window on just how actually key these kind of little interpersonal relationships are amongst the whole kind of big geopolitical movements that are going on. And, as we sit here on the precipice of either RFK being elected or hopefully Hunter Biden or Trump, it just makes me think how fucked the US is. Because those dudes are all going to be having these little heart-to-heart conversations with dictators. It's kind of scary.
Well, I mean, or maybe finally the U.S. sees eye to eye with the dictators.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, talking of dictators, we should move on to our next item. It's the one below the one we just did.
I can't say it.
Okay.
Inspired by BlackRock?
No,
No.
although different dictator. Crispin Odey's lunch order.
Steak. Sorry.
Listen, let me. I got the ball rolling here, okay? You can't take this away from me. Steak and kidney pie with a loin of beef on the side.
What was the context on this one?
I don't know.
This was you.
This was me?
This was you. Yeah, you were
By the
just.
way, they're drinking coffee and I'm drinking.
I think maybe it was an FT article.
It was an FT article. They had a bunch of articles on Crispin Odey.
Yeah, some amazing coverage.
All right, I just fell asleep. Let's just keep on going. Hold on.
Dude, this guy is the real deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember. So the article had documented his lunch order after doing some of the greatest coverage alluding to the fact that he's consumes a great amount of alcohol at lunch by describing him as, I think, rosy face and sweaty.
When he comes back, yeah.
Yeah, they described his lunch order as he had steak and kidney pie with a side of a loin of beef. I mean, what kind of a mountain of a man can
Called a
consume that
fucking
at
heart
lunch?
attack.
He has quite an appetite.
Yeah.
Quite an appetite for the booze, the food, and the ass.
Yeah.
Actually, let me bring this up. This
is actually good.
You have no idea what I'm about to say. But one of my favorite
Just
moments,
like normal.
one of my favorite like articles, media moments from the summer was reading this article in the San Francisco Chronicle, and so they wrote about this black trans woman who opened this restaurant in Oakland called Hello Felicia, or Hi Felicia. Anyway,
Hi, Felicia. I know her. Go on.
you know her.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, of course, like on the left, they're like, wow, black trans woman, like this is royalty, right? We, ask no questions about character because character must be completely assured here. Turns out that, even when it's a trans woman, dick will dick. So,
No way.
so she's grabbing titty ass balls of her workers, and a bunch of them quit, and it was, first of all, it was like reading this article, like everybody they interviewed in this article like uses they as a pronoun.
What pronoun? I was
So
gonna ask.
it's like really fucking like even when there's just one person in an article who gets quoted, like it always throws me off when it's like they said. I'm like, wait, who else? Like
It's hard
always
to
fucks me
follow.
up.
That's what he's trying
But
to
so
say.
it's like an article full of like pluralized singular people. So it's confusing, but then it just becomes fun, like sort of like a mini mushroom trip in a way in terms of like the English language. So there's that. But then so all these former employees are like disappointed. Oh, how could somebody who's so noble as like a trans woman, turn out to be like a dude who has a business, and it's just, and the fact that the Chronicle had to bring this person low, like I knew it was just breaking hearts in the fucking newsroom as they wrote this article, like just like no,
And you're like
triple
smiling.
check this, quadruple check this can't be true. So yeah, it was a fun moment for me over
That's
the summer.
awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
the irony, so good.
So do you know the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Do the workers seem happy?
No.
Or are they oppressed as much as they would?
I don't know
working
about
for a
oppressed. I
Is
mean,
the
do
food any good?
hetero, cisgendered,
no.
No.
toxic male.
Yeah. I
I
bet
would say
I
so.
bet the guaranteed tip piece is fucking enormous at a restaurant like that, right? Because it's probably healthcare, a happiness supplement, a buy the barista a coffee. I bet a coffee costs $28 there.
Baristex.
Baristex, exactly. They Baristex.
Right. Yes. So anyway, that was like a little fun
That is
thing
fun.
that was happening in California. So,
Nice.
you can encounter a lot of absurdity there.
All right, next. I don't know. Inspired by BlackRock, we are each going to propose 2 board members of MWC. This was you.
No, this wasn't me. This was Freddy.
This was you.
Oh, so we noted
This is
that
it.
BlackRock had. Who had they appointed to their board? It
Oh, the
was-
Saudi dude, right?
Yeah.
His name is Amin Nassar.
It's probably not, but it's written
Yes,
like
no,
that.
it is.
Amin Nasser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some notes.
Thank you for. All right, so he's the CEO of Aramco.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So like the company leading the ESG efforts in America to fight climate change points
We're
fucking
like-
CEO of Saudi Aramco.
They're like, this
You
is
know,
a smart move.
as the
He's an
old
oil
saying-
tycoon.
As
Yeah,
the
go
old
ahead.
saying goes, it's what we do, not what they do, not what they say.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Larry Fink.
So yeah, so it inspired us to think that we should be appointing board members ourselves that typify the things we espouse.
We as MWC.
So I think we're going to come up with some candidates and we're going to let people vote on it potentially.
Okay. So who are the candidates who came to your mind?
I was thinking for head of inclusivity, I would like to see if Ghislaine Maxwell could take a position.
I don't think she has a lot else going on, so yeah.
She doesn't, and look, at some point she will be getting out if she doesn't rat on anyone, in which case she will be committing suicide. So I think Ghislaine would be up there for me. I haven't given it a ton of thought, so I need to kind of be a bit more, need some quiet time alone and really think about that, because it takes effort to promote someone that is the head of CEO of Aramco to be like, you know, on your board as an ESG guy. So I really do need to think about the quality of that.
Well, see, what Ghislaine Maxwell is missing, but he has, is money. So you just need to think of a horrible person with a lot of money.
That's easy.
Okay, Putin.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was hard.
I mean, if we're, go straight to the top on that one.
Although, actually, I just want to be clear. If he does win the Ukraine war and decides to invade here, I don't think you're horrible. I think you're actually okay.
I don't know. I think he likes people to think of him as horrible. Like, that's a compliment.
That's true.
Not a horrible ice skater. That's obviously an issue.
True. That's true. Yeah, but we'll come back with some thoughts on nominations. We'll put it to a public vote.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll solicit public comment on this.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts as to whom we should nominate to be on our board of governors, because they are horrible people with a lot of money, and there'd be a lot of irony in the nomination. Just think of Larry Fink with the Aramco guy. You have something you think rises to that level of irony, and, well, just let's call it outright hypocrisy. Please reach out
Yeah.
to Freddy on Bloomberg, since he actually turns it on, or me by direct message on Twitter
I guess the question is...
or X.
Is
Xer.
the CEO of Aramco actually just a ceremonial position? Because I feel like in a lot of the companies there's some like local dude that holds a title, and then there's typically like an American or a Brit who's doing the work. So is that just like he sits in the corner, he files his nails, he's eating, some pistachios, smoking a hookah, and there's actually some dude in the corner who's like fucking frantically working away?
Well, no, I mean, you have to understand that MBS is the one who controls things.
True.
And then everybody he installs is just there to pull out the bone saws and chop up the political enemies.
Yeah, it's amazing how we've forgotten that. I mean, I look forward to probably 2025 when we're all welcoming back Russian money.
So basically, I think MBS just gained control of BlackRock. Again, you could say it's just one guy on the board, but one guy with a fucking kit,
Yeah.
bone saws. After he takes apart, one or two other directors, I mean, who's really going to stand up to him in MBS? So, yeah, BlackRock is now, I think, firmly under the control of the Saudis.
Yeah.
Just like all of our pro golfers.
Right. Next on the agenda, Krista.
So, this was also you, Freddie. How we are the institutional version of Nigel Farage.
Oh, no, that was me.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing.
Yeah, you weren't hired for your memory. That's okay.
Basically, his account was closed, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So
So Nigel Farage is a controversial politician in the UK,
Because he's
arguably
what? Deemed-
far right.
Yeah.
So anyway, he
risk.
had bank accounts at, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Coots?
Yeah, Coots.
Coots? Okay.
good job.
All right.
Look at this
it's
guy.
It's just a non-English word. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, which is a subsidiary of National Westminster Bank, or NatWest. And so Farage had his accounts closed, and he was just booted out. And I'm like, yeah, homie, we know what that's like.
Yeah, welcome to the
Well, welcome to our world. But anyway, then I guess somehow or another he turned up some emails from inside NatWest, including the chairwoman, Dame so-and-so, now ex-chairwoman, where made it pretty clear that the closure was about disagreeing with his politics and thinking that he's a horrible guy as a result of his political views.
Which they lied about initially.
Right, yes. Yeah, they said, I don't know, the usual AML kind of bullshit.
Which never happens to us. They never lie as to the reason that people
true.
don't want to do business.
That's
They're
true.
very upfront.
Yeah,
it's
that's
because
true.
we discuss them.
That's right. Yeah, we are so thoroughly abhorrent they will actually tell us the truth as to why they're kicking us out.
Step aside, Freddy. Don't fucking touch Jeffrey, all right? He's an esteemed client here, all right? Anyways.
Not saying that did happen at a private bank that might be alluded to there,
Oh,
but
wow.
not saying it didn't.
It's kicked up this, like, massive furore as to whether it's right or wrong to deny people access to banking. And actually a lot of people and I think some organizations have actually come out the woodwork and be like, oh yeah, that's actually fucking weird. We had like bank accounts closed and didn't think anything of it.
No, it's a major issue, especially as governments are doing everything they can to discourage the use of cash in the economy, make everything, like credit card based or digital. And yeah, I mean, we had this situation a few years ago with our corporate credit card, right? Like somebody was trying to this is probably why we don't know for certain, because of course they don't tell you shit, but there's a major credit card issuer, and one of our analysts was trying to download some documents from one of the company's registries in the Caribbean, and probably like the credit card processor that registry used was the same processor that various online porn, gambling, whatever sites use.
D-Local.
Yeah, D-Local, obviously, D-Local. Well, it's their predecessor, right? AstroPay, which, okay, like that, it's, anyway. So, yeah, immediately get an email that, from the bank, your corporate credit cards, your account is being closed, blah, blah, blah. There's no explanation provided. It's effective immediately. You'll be required to make any payments, blah, blah, blah. Call up, and I mean, they are so nasty and so hostile. Like, I want to speak to a manager. No, I'd like to understand this. It's a big misunderstanding. No, and it's just like, well, we have a bunch of stuff that auto bills to this card. Like, we don't have a backup credit card. Too bad. Like, that's how it is. And so that's the problem with like this consolidation of banks and all this power that we're putting into a relatively small number of financial institutions, because these decisions are made by algorithm. Like, that's clearly what that was, and you have no recourse.
What we need is a bank that's a little bit more loosely regulated, that can offer these kind of services to basically anyone and everyone. And
I read about such a financial institution.
Correct.
That's doing wonders in our community, called the Change Company, and the Change. Company,
I was thinking of a different one.
Oh.
I was thinking of Freedom Holdings.
Well,
but okay.
Let's talk first about the Change Company.
Let's talk about the Change Company,
run by my old, very good friend Stephen Sugarman, whose brother was tagged by the SEC for $10 million recently.
Just to be clear, the SEC didn't bend him over and fuck him. Not that kind of tagging. It was just a fine.
Right, yes, exactly. And anyway, so Change Company is a community development financial institution, CDFI. So it's supposed to provide a certain percentage of its mortgages
help people make positive life changes
to people in underserved communities. So Barron's ran a story that one of the mortgages that it provided was to Johnny Depp.
Is that true?
I mean, it was in Barron's. I think.
I guess it's.
And so Colin Kaepernick's SPAC was going to merge with the Change Company, but that fell apart, and before the SPAC market.
You've really changed your tune on their lending, because Bank of California, a long way back when, were the only dudes who give you a mortgage.
That's right. That's when I knew they were fucked up, when I was able to get a mortgage from them. Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Ex-chief of staff accuses the change company of mischaracterizing loans. Yes, now, the change company does have Stephen Sugarman does have some things to say about him, but yeah. Anyway, stay tuned on this one. Things are getting fun with Mr. Sugarman and the change company.
And then rounding things off, I think we should bring back the Black Macaque, right?
Black Macaque. It's always a factor in the market, man.
Let's go for it.
Where is that?
It's at the bottom there.
Oh, Inotiv,
Yep.
a pharmaceutical testing company.
Please move your glasses away from your mouth.
Oh, sorry.
Project.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Well, but then I can't read what's going on here. That's what was going on. Where are we?
Don't look at her like that. Getting old is a bitch.
Faces. Fuck you. Faces an investigation. So the company's called Inotiv. Am I saying it correct?
Close enough.
The company faces an investigation into whether its monkey sourcing practices may have violated U.S. anti-foreign bribery law. This was yours.
Yeah, so this is really just, we don't want to be like kind of hit it and quit it, as like we refer to. We want to go deeper. We want to continue to update on the most important stories. So last year we discussed
That's us.
the unfortunate incident where a fund had been invested in a stock. It was a large position. And what happened was what we referred to as the Black Macaque, where it turns out there were issues with supply of monkeys, I think from Cambodia and other parts of Southeast Asia. It is turning out that the problems go deeper. There may have been some FCPA violations involved in the sourcing. Now, the mind boggles as to were the monkeys being bribed? Were the people being bribed to were they
Were the monkeys competing in gymnastics in the Olympics on behalf of Cambodia? We don't know.
You just kind of wonder
That's a very good question.
how fucked up do things have to be where you're breeding monkeys illegally anyway, and then you're like, yeah, look, dude, I'm not going to do this without a legit grease payment, all right? How does that enter into the conversation? So, needless to say, the stock hasn't recovered since the initial Black Macaque. I don't know how it reacted to the probe, but I think it's pretty uninvestable down here. So we'll continue to keep viewers informed.
Maybe there's some unique IP there. Maybe there's some price there which it makes sense to be long.
Yeah, at some point, they're just going to turn it into sausages, or they're just going to SPAC as a sausage company, exotic meat sausages.
There's a big market for that.
Yeah,
In
there are.
Asia, yes.
Yeah. So that's
Tiger penis jerky.
Anything else you wanted to add, Krista?
No. Nope. Let's just end with that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
Actually,
That's a little too solicitous. Why are you thanking people?
what about the
Sorry.
Sam Bankman-Fried shit with this guy, just not being able to fucking, stop destroying his life, where he's now going to end... I think he's in jail, right?
Yeah, he was. His bail was revoked, basically.
Yeah.
Or sorry, his home confinement was revoked. Yeah, because he was basically...
Witness tampering?
Did I not talk about that?
No, we didn't talk. I don't know, but everybody knows about it. We're bringing people the hard-hitting, hard-to-find stories.
Oh.
Right? What zoo animal were you impersonating there?
No, you're right. We are bringing them.
That's what.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
that's
did
what
you
we're
see that
supposed to do.
zookeeper that was with the hippopotamus? No? So I think it was in, I want to say Indonesia. There's
What
a
newspaper
pretty
do you
rowdy... I'm going
read?
to find this story and we're going to fill in the blanks next
But
week.
I forgot the newspaper.
So
you read.
hippopotamuses are amongst the most dangerous animals.
Actually, yes,
I think it's
do know that.
hippopotami. But
Hippopotami,
I
okay.
think so.
This guy.
So they're amongst the most dangerous animals. They're really,
Yeah,
really dangerous.
actually, I didn't know
And
that.
there's this awesome thing of this. I want to say it was in Indonesia, the hippopotamus is kind of like climbing out of its sort of like pool thing, and it's just a dude with a stick, like just fucking standing there, just like whacking the hippopotamus. I'm like, yeah, that's eventually not gonna end well. Oh fuck! Wait, how didn't we cover like the bears in that Chinese zoo? You guys saw that story too, right? The kind of like bears that it was clearly like humans dressed up as bears.
No, but that's
You
fantastic.
guys miss it.
That is fantastic.
Oh, all right.
Well, that for
What's
next
the-
week.
what's
Tune in
What
next
is-
week.
Season 2, episode 2. We'll have the Chinese bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's good. We've left them on a cliffhanger.
That's right. Don't look it up though. Don't Google it.
Thank you.
Don't.
Claire.
Of
We are
course
the
I'm gonna
only
Google it.
trustworthy
That's
news
actually-
source for you.
All right.
Cool. And
Again.
into a new season, Phelan set sail.
Cheers.
Oh,
Thanks.
actually-
What?
Another
Oh.
cliffhanger for season 2.
Yeah.
Or for next episode.
Yeah.
What?
Tune in for next week.
Just watch where
Yeah.
you go fly fishing in Montana. That's
Yeah.
all I can
Tune
say.
in next week.
Whoa.
Whoa. What does he mean?
You'll find out.
All right. Cheers. Out.